Hey. So, what I'm about to share with you guys, I have a testimony first and foremost that I'd like to share, but before I do, I needed to make it adamantly, vehemently, whatever, clear that this is all about you. This has everything to do with you. Everything here is meant to teach us. Everything here is meant to help us evolve and to grow. Everything here is about coming to terms with loving yourself. And if you're not new to this channel, I've said this multiple times over, but it's the hard truth. And it's so funny because most of us, we assume that we love ourselves or we don't even think about it. Or if we recognize that we don't, we don't do anything about it, which is so sad. Like, think about how sad that is. It's like you can give love to somebody else, but you don't love yourself. And the thing is when it comes to loving others, it's like some people might not agree with the notion that you can't love others until you truly learn to love yourself, but the fact of the matter is we are all one. We are all connected. If you're not loving yourself, you're not loving others, because others are you. So it's like you might love somebody, but you're still, it's not really that you're loving them. It's what you're doing is you're finding what you do love about yourself in somebody else. And that's what you're seeing, and that's what you're feeling. But this is all a love story, you guys. This is all a love story from you to you. And in order to unlock and obtain and unlock this heaven on earth, so to speak, where we get to consciously be here and experience everything that we've created, everything that I've created, everything that you've created, we're all one. You have to do the work on yourself first. It has to be two wholes coming together as one. And it's not saying you're completely healed, because you can't do certain healing without having a partner to continue to facilitate that healing with you, right? But you have to get yourself to a certain point. Fingers are tingling. You have to get yourself to a certain point so that you can actually continue to evolve and grow. Because what this is all about evolution, right? And it's funny because when we talk about evolution, it's just like we'd forget that it's like technology doesn't equate to evolution. If you think about evolution, evolution's meant to, it's this thing so that we can continue to pass on our genetics and our whatnot, right? We're supposed to continue to grow and adapt and change. If something is destroying its environment or outliving its environment or outgrowing its environment in some way, shape, or form, that thing doesn't survive. You think of things like, that giant ass shark, the Megalodon, right? Why did that eventually go extinct? It went extinct because it was too large and it was eating up all the freaking shit in the ocean. So it's like, it can't survive. It died. And us having this human part to us, it's like what we're doing right now doesn't make any sense, right? Like the state of the world we're in right now makes no sense in terms of evolution. And that's because the evolution is us. We are meant to evolve. We are meant to evolve to a point so that we can essentially come back to our 0 point, but consciously on earth, almost like we're retiring, because we've created all of this, right? We've created all of this, and now we're here to enjoy it and experience it and live it and have fun in everything that we've created and not work so hard. But to do that, again, you have to believe you're worthy of it, which goes back to self-love, right? And society and all these things, and it's just like, we designed all this anyway. So we designed this so that we can learn from it. We designed and put ourselves through the things we've been through so that we can learn how to love ourselves, all parts of ourselves. And that also means forgiving anyone who's ever quote unquote wronged us, because guess what? You wronged yourself. You wronged yourself to help yourself learn. And so, to my testimony, like, and people are watching this, if this isn't resonating with you, this isn't for you yet. But it will be eventually, and you will see. But for me, last was 1 week ago. 1 week ago today, actually. And this is, I'm not making this shit up. This is what happened for me. Okay. I finally got to the point, and I've been doing this work on myself, this self-love, this healing for probably the past 5 years. And when I look at all of it, I'm like, oh wow, that's directly related to, I'm like, okay, 10 years ago is when this repressed memory came back and heightened my sensitivities. And then that's when I kind of fell down this like rabbit hole. And I was like, and then that was also this 5 years ago, my grandma died. That also heightened more sensitivities. And it's like, I've been on this journey probably for like the past 5 years in the way that I've been on it. Okay, we'll say that. And so last Thursday for me, I finally came to the realization, like in a more clear, concise way, instead of waiting for things to happen, that I had already been planning everything out, that I had the ability to take on everything that I want to do, right? All these different things. And I had all these different ways. I was like, okay, I can go get a small business government grant loan here. I can go start putting together this stuff here. I have all my notebooks here. I'm going to go to the coffee shop right now. I'm so excited. I was stoked. I was like, I'm so excited. I finally like have this figured out. I know exactly what I'm going to do. The only one I've been waiting on is myself, right? And I think earlier in the day, earlier in the day, I had also been focusing on myself and learning how to work with my own energy better and understand my own energy better. Because I am a highly sensitive person. If you are on this channel, you're probably also likely a highly sensitive person. And to me, a highly sensitive person means that you are one of the chosen ones. And you have this gift so that you can wake up, so that you can attain what you need to attain in order to be an example for the rest of the world to follow, for us to all continue to evolve. So I was working on that, came home, had all these realizations, so excited to get out. I'm going to go to the coffee shop, start writing all this down. After this, out of nowhere, came out of left field, I was like, I think I want to take one single mushroom. Why? I don't know. I had no reason. Like, there was literally nothing. It was just a very strong internal, intuitive, like, go have one. So I did. And you guys, the last time I had this sort of process, I had what felt like I would call a spirit-led initiation. Not last Thursday, but I don't even know when that one was. Spirit-led initiation. It was the first time I had acknowledged Jesus, and he had come to me, Christ had come to me in that way. And it was very much spirit-led. Like, I didn't really feel like I had control of my body. Last Thursday felt like the opposite. It felt like everything I was choosing was by choice completely. And I wasn't in my head overthinking anything. So from there, I can't really describe everything because it was kind of, it's very, bleh. Let's just say I self initiated myself at this point. Um, the amount of energy that I felt like come into my form, into my body, was just like no word. It was just like indescribable. It's just like this jolt of what felt like electricity, energy, just like came into my being. And this was after I had given myself a bath, short, small bath. Um, that was also something I just felt like, go turn the water on, like, you know. So, and in that, and like, I kid you not, I went from standing in my shower after this bath to sitting, and I felt like I had blacked out in a sense. When I was like, realized I was sitting, I was like, what just happened? I was very confused. I also ended up bruising my arm. Still 2 bruises from, so there's your proof. 2 bruises from last Thursday. And I just all of a sudden felt like this sense of knowing, this sense of like identity, this sense of like, and I go and check my phone, and like, mind you, there's other things going on. I'm like tapping into parts of myself that I've been afraid to tap into in regards to like sexuality, and like kind of like been like shying away from, because of how society tends to paint and label things, especially paint and label women. So there was that. And then on top of that, I had received a text message from someone I've known since I moved to this city 10 years ago. They had been a regular at the restaurant I had started working at, and they were still a regular there when I left. He was the sweetest person ever. He's the only one I ever wanted to talk to. The only customer I would talk to. I worked in the back of the house at this point, so he was the only one I would ever go talk to. As soon as he come in, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. You just go hang out behind the bar, talk with him. But we've been meaning to get together since I left that location. He's in his 80s. I'm in my early 30s. I'm 31. And so he texted me early that morning or something, and was like wanting to meet up. And so basically, by the time I like rechecked my phone again, it was like 20 minutes before the time he wanted to meet, or it was just about to be the time he had stated. So I was like, okay, how about we push it to this time? Otherwise, we'll do another day. He said yes. So I was like, all right. And my energy, by mind you, was like this, and it felt like I had like 2 separate parts of me that were interacting, like, which I'm gonna call, like, you know, our 0 point, right? This is us, like, this is our source consciousness, we'll call it. And then like the everything. And then you have like your human brain, right? The ego that like plays this other part. We are both of those things. We are both of those things, okay? But in that moment, like, and this was the first time ever, and I've had more than like 1 mushroom before, mind you. I've never had a full trip, but I've had more than 1 mushroom, and never ever have I ever had an experience like this. So just to clarify, people are like, oh, she's on. It's like, no. No. So anyways, that voice was just a lot louder, and it was just like something that like I was trusting, because I was aware that it was me and it wasn't separate from me, even though the way in which it was communicating was almost like a third person. Like I was referring to myself as she a lot, like, oh, she has no idea what's about to happen, like she has no idea what's coming, like that kind of thing, right? But all the while, like, I'm still calm and I'm not like freaking out, because like a part of all of this, if you guys have been on this journey, if you guys are new to this, if this is completely new, let me just tell you, part of all of this is like fear is also part of this, right? Fear is part of the human experience. Fear drives faith. Without fear, you cannot have faith. Everything here has a duality for a reason. Everything here has that for a reason. And I think a lot of times when people, when you hear about people who are on their spiritual journey, which, mind you, I don't identify as spiritual no more, you guys. Like, I am the motherfucking creator, okay? But when people identify and are on their spiritual path of evolution, And to me, when I say spiritual, like what I've always meant by that, because it's just a word that you could use, is just like it encompasses everything, anything, and like everything, anything and everything. So people are like, oh, you're spiritual? Like, what does that mean? For me, it's always like been personal evolution at the root of it and healing. Where was I at? God, I don't know. Sorry. But to get on with my story, because I don't know where I just went. Sorry about that, guys. See, human brain. But anyways, fear is part of it. And so when people get on their spiritual path, oftentimes I feel like you get to when you get so far, it starts to get scary because that fear is coming in to test you, to see what you're like doing and like almost like what your intention is with this, right? And where your beliefs actually lie, because you're testing yourself. Remember, that fear is coming up to see where you're at with yourself. And this isn't the first time like this has happened. The last time I had like the self-initiation, there was also a lot of fear coming up and coming in. And it's just like you have to like learn to embrace all of it, right? I'll get to that too, because that's a huge part of all of this is the shadow work. But back to my story. So my homie, right, from work, I was like, all right, shoot. I'm like, we're gonna go meet up. And yeah, I just like feel really good. I feel really powerful. I feel amazing. I feel like I've never felt before, and it just feels like it's growing, this feeling, right? So at this point, I go in the bathroom and I'm like, I'm gonna get ready, and I'm getting all dolled up. I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. I'm putting on eyeshadow, which I've never worn. I haven't worn eyeshadow in like years because I just haven't, but I just feel like pampering myself, loving on myself, because this body is a temple, right? Like I am divine. Like why would I not like adorn myself and make myself feel good and look good, right? Get my hair all done up. And yeah, also I can't find my money because some of you guys might know, I quit my job a few months ago, so I haven't been at work. I'm also down to my last little penny right now, but that's okay because it's all about to change. So mind you, I couldn't find my few dollars that I had. The other voice, right? My divine side kept being like, bitch, just get out the door. Like, you already know he's paying. And this whole time, too, I'm like, could he be? Like, could this be about to happen? And it's like, well, you've known him for this long. Like, is it just a coincidence that you're meeting him on this day when you chose to do this and all this is happening as you had all these realizations? And is it really a coincidence that you're going to go meet him and it's going to be nothing? And the logical side, right? Because that's what it is. The logical side is where you're not operating in the now moment. So my logical side kept trying and trying and trying so hard, and it's just like and it's just like funny because my other side, the other part of me, the part that's like I was allowing to lead, it was just like chuckling and laughing because it was getting such a kick at like my logical side trying to like do it like somersaults, knowing that my logical side's not going to be able to figure it out because everything happens in the now moment. So anyways, I let my divine side allowed my logical side to kind of look around for a little bit, just try to see if she could find that money, even though she knew she wasn't gonna need it. And then we got a little done with her, and we're like, okay, let's get out the door. We're done with this. So I left without the money. Went over to go meet him, and as I'm walking, and this is just a couple blocks from my house, so as I'm walking to go meet him at this little cute bar, it's just like the feeling I'm feeling as I'm walking. And mind you, this is also I pulled myself a card before I left. I'm like, help my human side like understand what's going on. What came out? Enlightenment. That's the card that came out. Anyways, back to it. So yeah, I'm walking out the door, and as I'm walking down the couple blocks over to this little bar to meet him, it's just like I feel unstoppable. I feel like I'm radiating everything, power, energy. I feel like I can't even describe it. I just felt so powerful. It's really like what it is, and happy. and excited and just like so good about myself. So good about myself. And I walk in and I see him sitting at the bar, and I go up and approach him, and it's just like, and mind you, like I have the biggest smile on my face ever. And I go in, and he turns right as I'm about to sit down and just greets me. And from there on out, like I can't even begin to describe the conversation we had. Um, to put it in simple terms, I was talking to myself via this 83-year-old man. But it was more like he was helping me to continue to expand my own mind and understand and see who I am, which is everything. And in that too, I had to consistently bring myself back via into the present moment via breath work. So I take my 3 deep breaths. I'd go, and I do that as many times as needed throughout our conversation, because like he had me laughing so freaking hard, like because of the jokes he was cracking, or whatever, the jokes that were being cracked were like universal jokes that like my mind was getting, right? And it was it's the most hilarious thing ever. Like asking how long I'd lived in the neighborhood, and like talking about like the relationships, right? Like having a mom and a dad, and like how I am the beer that we were drinking, and how everything is necessary, and like how like just like, and then we were just like communicating like telepathically in a sense, here and there. And like I was like, he seemed like to have it all, right? But like me, I was like some parts I was like, wait, what? And I could like feel myself like partially getting it, and then it'd come in, or like certain things wouldn't come in all the way. But I was laughing so hard I had to breathe. Like I could, and then at one point, that's what it was. At one point, I realized what this all was. And in that moment, I don't recall what it was that he had said to me or I had said to myself. But this sense of realization hit me, where I just was like I kid you not, I like fell over the bar. Like I just needed like all of the stress, any and every stress and tension I had been holding in my body still, that I wasn't even consciously aware I was still holding, just like left. Ugh. And it felt so good. And I felt so relaxed. Like the guy at the bar the guy who was behind the bar actually had to like come over and be like, she's sleeping, because I was just like in such peace for a moment, like just allowing myself to feel into that rest. And I was like, no, I'm good. I had to sit up. Yeah. And also during this, like with how hard I was laughing, you guys, people should have been looking, but no one was looking at us. And it felt like we were just like in this standstill of time. Getting a little nauseous, I need to eat. Yeah. And it was just such this beautiful experience with this man that I've known for the past 10 years. And the first thing he says when I walked in there was just like, referencing my old work, he's like, if only they could see you now. Yeah, because this journey, you guys, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. The journey to self-love is like, whoo! Like you don't even know you're journeying towards self-love is the thing, because it's all these other things. But the way my little logical brain works, and that's the other thing, like I'm very logical, I love puzzles, and it's just like, that was kind of a joke we were making as well. And like, I'm like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Because the universe, like, never mind. Anyways, the journey to self-love is so important and so beautiful and so necessary. And part of all of it is just like coming into, like, it's a love story at the end of the day. Like, you're meant to meet your person. when the timing is right. You guys are meant to come into union when the timing is right. And it's like about having, like, it's about bringing about that heaven on earth, so to speak, right? But it's not heaven on earth. It's just essentially like a place for the universe, source, creator. I don't really like saying universe. I think creator or source. For source, for us to come back to our true nature and just live and create. Not even really create. I mean, we've created so much. It's about living and just enjoying and having fun with love. And like, you're falling in love with yourself. Like, whoever your partner is gonna like be they're gonna be really similar to who you are as a human vessel, right? Like, I don't know. And like within that, there's more growth, right? Like, you come together into that union and then you guys continue to grow and evolve. But because there's unconditional love, because you've learned unconditional love for yourself, you can have unconditional love for others. And you realize, and like from past relationships as well, that it's like the past relationships were meant to teach you unconditional love as well, right? Like, the biggest lesson I learned from my last relationship where I got cheated on, excuse me, cheated on myself, whatever. And, you know, another baby came out of it, and like, you know, that broke my heart, because it's like I always wanted my own family, and like I didn't want it to be like have all these weird layers to it. But that, learning from that, it's like the biggest lesson I learned out of that towards the end, because I was putting so much work into like the relationship as a whole, and like looking at myself because of that relationship, and like, okay, like, what can I change? What can I do differently? Like, what do we need to work on together? What are what are they called? Attachment styles. Very important to learn about. Because it all goes together, right? Like, it all goes together. But like, the biggest lesson I learned from that relationship to myself was like that I needed to learn to love myself as much as I was loving him. Because I was giving and giving and giving and giving, right? Even though like nothing was changing, and I got to the point where I could see a pattern. I could see the pattern. I knew exactly how things were going to go. I knew that what I was doing was right in a lot of situations. Like, I knew I needed to bring things up. Like, if I felt uncomfortable in something, I knew that I needed to be like, hey, like, that really hurt my feelings. I know you probably didn't mean it, you know, and approaching it the right way. But when it got to the point where like those conversations also weren't going anywhere, so it's like, I think the last straw for me in that relationship had, like, the person had lied to me about something very small and minuscule, but like, because of that, like, I was back in my head, even though I've been trying so hard to give them all this trust, I was back in my head like, well, what else are they lying about? Like, da 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 da. If they're lying about this, they're probably lying about something else. Like, and this is like almost 2 years in after like this baby, after like finding out there's gonna be a baby and all this, right? So I was finally hit me, and I was sitting outside of my work, getting ready to go into work, and like, you know, having this conversation in text and being like, what is happening right now? And like having them straight up lie to me on the phone about the fact that they're not lying. And so, but I'm not lying. And so I was just like, you know, what about me? Like, I don't know that he's ever gonna change, that I'm ever gonna change. So it's like, don't I care about my happiness? Like, yeah, I'm giving them all this patience, all this grace, all this love. But what about me? Like, I'm not happy right now. And it's just like, am I just gonna wait for forever and then hope eventually something changes? Because like, I don't have forever. And I want a family, and I want like kids, and you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, that was the last straw. And it wasn't like, and to me, like, also, it wasn't personal, because I was like, you know, I don't know, maybe what he said, I think I did believe what he said, whether or not he was lying more or not. I think I honestly believed what he said, that he didn't want to tell me the truth of what was going on, which was something really small, because he thought that if he had spent more time, then it would have, like, it would have started some argument or something, which it wouldn't have, right? It wouldn't have in that situation with where I was at. But in his mind, telling me the truth, whatever, doesn't matter. What all I'm saying is, regardless, for me, it was like, I need to walk away from this because I'm not what he needs right now. He's not what I need right now. Like, he needs someone who can completely be patient, who is very sure and confident in themselves and loves themselves fully, so that and that's not me. Because I'm getting triggered too much. I'm stressing out too much. There's too many tears. This is literally taking years off of my life, just so y'all know. If you're in any sort of stressful or any sort of shitty relationship, so to speak, just know that it is taking years off your life, like statistically, like literally it is. So pay attention. And I told him that too, you know, I was like, this is taking years off of both of our lives. Like, I really do love you and I care about you, but like, it's not working. It's not working. And I chose that because I was finally choosing myself. Because I had just been choosing him, which is technically still choosing myself, but not for real, right? You gotta learn to love the you that you're in. But yeah, I don't even know where I just took a turn here, guys. All this to say, yeah, it all does go back to self-love, and all we're meant to do is continue evolving and growing and expanding and believing we're worthy without having to prove it by just being, because you are the being, you are the source, you are the creator. You don't need to be anything else. You just are it. And if you're here and you're watching this and this somewhat resonates, or you're very curious and you want to know how to get to that, self-love, shadow work, and energy work. Because everything is energy at the end of the day, right? Like, I'm energy. This is all just energy. And like, I can tell you from like my journeys, a lot of the things, and it's like, it's complex. I'm going to be coming up with a system for this too, you guys. Or I'm going to come up with something. I have a lot of ideas around it. But you have to incorporate both sides, right? It's the psychology, how our human minds work. Like, it's really hard for us to ascertain things like a divine concept and fully integrate it and fully like believe it, right? Like, it's not something that just, because our brains like are wired that way. We created ourselves that way. This is why faith is so important. And it's just like, you don't have to like put it in like, and it's like funny too, because like when we say faith, like that's only a word unless you are really going into it, right? That's why you're tested with fear on your journey. You're tested with fear because faith is an absolute necessity. If you don't have faith in, really it's faith in yourself, right, at the end of the day. But like, let's say like you're someone spiritual. I always put my faith in, I'm just like, I know there's something. I would always just say source, creator, God, like whatever, universe, whatever word you want to use, because I just know it's something. But it's like, I was trying to figure it out, and I'm like, I'm also someone who's like, I believe there's probably all these lower level gods as well. Do I still believe that? I don't really know, kind of, but it's still me, it's still me. Like, yes, they exist, but it's also still me. Or maybe they don't exist. I don't know. It's all still me, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But I feel like there are many tools that we can use, right, to psychologically help our brains like anchor into our divine truth. So a lot until I can release certain energies. So for me, I'm just going to share something really quick. And this is like a lot. I know this isn't just a testimony. This is me sharing a lot, but I'm just so excited. And I haven't known what to do with this information for a while. And I think I keep hearing this song repeat in my mind. And though I can't remember the song, the lyrics are like, testify, oh, you can't deny it. Dun, 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 oh, you psychic. So, and I just keep hearing like testify. So that's what we're here doing. Gosh, sorry. What was I saying? Oh, so when it comes to, you guys like that? When it comes to anchoring the human mind, you have to like utilize like concrete things, right? So for me, it's like I never really knew because I didn't even get into like spirituality. You asked me what crystal should I get for this? Like, bitch, I don't know. Get the same color. I don't know. So I never really got into like anything super into any like real religion or spirituality because you don't need to because it's all within you. But like things will come to you as you need the information as you continue to just be on the journey. But it's not about like doing this deep hard dive and like trying to like I don't know. It just kind of like comes as you need it, the information, the bits that like for you because you designed yourself, right? So everyone's journey is going to look a little bit different. But at the core of it, for those who maybe this is just for the highly sensitive people. I haven't quite figured this out yet. I think it's for everybody. Because I think when it comes to breaking like generational trauma or generational curses or whatever they call them, I think that's rooted in because things have been passed down and nobody in the family line has chosen to, I guess, like see the different possibilities. No one's chosen to break out and like, it's called healing the ancestral line, but maybe the ancestral line is just everyone and everything because we're all one. But since we all have different like bloodlines, they call it the ancestral line. But really, it's like you're healing everything because we're a collective conscious. But sorry, back to the tangibles to help the human mind. Like when it comes to utilizing natural things, I think that's helpful, right? Because they were just here, they're part of creation. So crystals, incense, plants and herbs, right? Candles, wax, like things like this, like candle magic. So for me, a lot of my processing, at least for like the bigger things, happened, and this is for like energetic releases, like stored energy that's just stuck in the body. A lot of the huge things for me came in my what I called spiritual baths. And for me, what I would do, and I think this is all about like focusing the intention, right? So for me, a spiritual bath, like if I had a general idea or concept of like something I was trying to like understand about myself, right? Because when it comes to shadow work, those are your subconscious. Like you aren't aware of them. Like you might like be able to be like, there's something here that I need to look at, but like, what is it? What am I not seeing? If you're triggered by something, if something comes up in you, it's because you need to look at something. And so for me, it started out very easy because it was more general, and I was like, okay. Or I would just focus on like a certain chakra, right? So I'd focus on the root chakra. Also get the book Chakras and Shadow Work if you do not have that already. But I would focus on a chakra at a time only after I got this book, because this book was like helpful. So I've been doing other work before this, and then I got this book and I was just like, oh, beautiful. Okay. But I would make myself up something specifically, utilizing like the plants, utilizing certain crystals, utilizing, just like these sacred objects, these things of the earth, of the universe, of source, whatever, to kind of help, like, because I didn't really necessarily be like, oh, these are gonna like that part I was still trying to like understand, right? Because I'm still like a science girly, a philosophy girl. It's just I'm everything, all right? Excuse me. But our human mind is our human mind. And it's hard for us to just grasp something. So I would take these baths with these herbs, and while I'm doing them up with like salts and stuff, I'm being very intentional and like thinking about what it is that I'm wanting out of this experience I'm going to go have. Like, what do I want to come out of this? It could be general, but like, what do I want? What is my intention with this spiritual bath? And from there, yeah, set up the bath. I would do, incense, crystals, candles, maybe throw in some candle magic, focus the intention more, you know? Just, I feel like the more things you have, the more it's like anchors your mind down, and so that you can get into your subconscious. And then I would also smoke a little bit of weed in there, and that would allow. And it's also, mind you, weed's not necessary, but also like it does help, especially if these are like really hidden things that are like don't want to be touched. Sometimes you need something a little even stronger. Like these things are all put here for a reason. But yeah, and then just kind of like relaxing, just kind of letting, you know, and when you're getting in, just being very intentional about all of it. Intention is key. And then just kind of allowing whatever comes to come. Almost like trying to be in like a meditative state, like where you're not trying to really think of anything, you're just relaxing. That's what I would say. Don't try to think so hard. Don't try to think at all. And if you notice that your mind's just like, like, focus on your breath. And it's like, what needs to come up will come up. And I feel like for me, it would usually take 20 minutes on average before it would surface. And then, but it was like when it would surface, it was like this huge realization, this huge understanding, this huge energetic release. Like I can't even describe it. Sometimes I'm like I feel like most of the time I was like sobbing, crying. And then you just feel it. You just feel it leave. And I had many spiritual baths to help me with that. I've also had other experiences as well. They just got more and more, yeah, but trauma's at the root of it, you guys. Trauma's at the root of so much of this. It's like, and a lot of us like, and that's the other thing too, is I think a lot of us don't realize that we actually have trauma that we don't understand. And if you don't have severe trauma, I think the ones with severe trauma are the quote unquote chosen ones. I think they're the ones who are meant to like do that work and like come to show everybody else what's possible. And I think a lot of it, and then outside of that, is just like people who don't have severe trauma. Maybe we all do. I don't freaking know. I kind of feel like we do. And I was going to say, repressed, but repressed trauma, right? Because if you don't know, then you don't know. I had repressed trauma for 21 years. No idea. Didn't remember. Just gone. And when it came back, and it wasn't even like a full anything, it was just like, oh, yeah, me too. When that happened though, like I shifted, like your body actually goes back into the like physiological state that it was in when that happened. So like all of that like came back into my body. And that's also, it's not ironic because this is like how it is, how I designed it. So it's like that trauma came back at the same time I was like getting into this 10-year relationship that like ended with like, you know, all this other stuff, babies and cheating and all that. But it's like, and then 5 years after that trauma, my grandma died, who was like everything to me, man. Who's also me. Anyways, this might be a little woo for some folks. That's okay. I don't care. People are gonna think I'm nuts, and I also don't give a fuck anymore. Cause I know. Anyways, I don't really know where this channel's going. I don't know if I'm gonna continue card readings or what. I do know that I'm gonna be working on a program to help people and research. We're gonna be researching this shit because like it's possible for us to all have a life we want. We just have to do the work to understand it. And it's like I don't have all the science down, but I have like principles down in my mind that have just like come to me, mind you, again. It's like not like I have researched a ton of anything. It's just that's how the universe, like, you have, like, when they say these things, like, everything you need is within you, they whatever mean it. They mean it. It's all within us. So yeah. But so many things get in the way of us seeing self-love. And it's like, the thing is, I think I've showed you guys this board before. Ugh. My madness, mind you. Yeah, I know. So that, it's literally like, I put heal at the center of it. Maybe, I don't know, sometime last year I started working on this. And because I had finally gotten to a space, like, I think it was when I had moved into my new place, which I manifested. And it exceeded all my expectations I had written down. Yeah, that doesn't, anyway. I put heal in the middle because heal to me was what I was doing. And I wrote down all the components and all the things that I thought were like major and central to that, right? And then I realized that I could trace everything back to one of the things I had written, which was, yes, like that. Which was self-love. And I was like, oh shit, it all goes back to self-love. And if you think about it, like we said at the beginning of this video, like, you are the one. Like, you have to love yourself. You created yourself. You can't not love yourself. Like, that's why you need to learn it. That's why you have to learn it. And it's funny because it's like, when I started this journey, like, I told you right after my relationship, I was like, I can do this. Like, I need to learn to love myself. And I thought I had attained it just by like leaving. I was very wrong. I like fell back down, and then whole more parts of the journey, so much more learning, so much more healing, so much more energetic releasing. Because at the end of the day, it all goes back to like stuff that happened in your childhood and how you were made to feel. Whether it's like, unhealthy boundaries, or I don't know, imposter syndrome, or like your relationship to money, like the conditioning and rules that we get of what's possible. We hear things about like, oh, that's a pipe dream, and it's just like people tell you not to chase your dreams, or that's unrealistic, be realistic. And it's just like, okay, but what about all of these people? Like, just look to YouTube if you need to see like proof of so much of this stuff. Like, you have people out there making their dreams come true left and right, who started from nothing. Like, that's something I realized when I was looking at and listening to, because I was like changing. Part of this also is like changing your consumption. What's the stuff you're listening to, right? Like, what words are you programming into your brain with the songs you're listening to? Like, things like that. What, like, television shows are you just watching this, just like feeding your mind these things? Oh my gosh, my brain's all over the place right now. There's just so much in all of this. Having a clean place, right? That's self-love. Oh, that's why that's so relevant. Oh, okay. Y'all just helped me realize some more stuff. This is perfect. Okay, yeah, but like having a clean place, that's an act of self-love. You're not just allowing yourself to live in a pigsty. You're keeping your counters clean. You're dusting things so you're not breathing that shit in. You're cleansing the air for a nice little, it's an act of self-love. And these things are all tools. Well, that's a tool. We'll get into all this later. Anyways, I think that's where I'm going to leave this. Because this is almost a 49-minute video. Damn. So if y'all are watching this, also, for anyone who's gonna think I'm nuts, that's totally fine. But I am. I did major in psychology. I do have a bachelor's in science, whatever, of psychology. This is my little compass. But I'm just throwing that out there because I know some people are gonna watch this and be like, this is crazy. Trust me, I know. And the reason I know is because I know how I sound and I know how I'm going to come off, because it's like, when you're also on this journey, it becomes a really hard thing to like accept. You're like, am I going crazy? Like, you're literally asking yourself that. Uh, anyways, okay, that's where I'm leaving this. If you guys made it all the way through, thank you. And also, you're welcome. We're all the same. um, stay tuned. Stay tuned. I will have more coming in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe this is just my testimony. I have no idea because we're just trying to stay focused and living in the now moment and letting things unfold because that's where the magic happens. All right. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, night, whenever it is that you're finding this message. And I will talk to you very soon. Maybe. Bye.